Morning. Welcome back to Grade 12, Mathematical Literacy. In this video, we want to look at the end of Term 1 control test, and this is from the province of Gauteng. So we're going to look at the first question of this, which is a summarized statement of financial performance for Edumate local municipality. Use at one, and you see that our question is got 2 marks. So this is our annexure A that we are given. So we have annexure A, that is Edumate local municipality statement of financial performance for the year ending 30 to 2022. So the question requires us to identify the figure for license payment. So obviously we've got 2,195,000 at 959. So this is the figure that we are just going to state in our answer section, whereby we are going to say our 2,195,000 in 959 rands. So as presented, this is our response. So we go to 1.1.2, whereby it reads calculate the value of A revenue from non-exchange transactions. So also we go to our annex. So which is revenue from non-exchange. Let's see that to get our total revenue. So obviously now to find our A, we can just make our A sum of formula there by saying A is equal to our total revenue minus our revenue from exchange transactions. So basically, we are saying 356,000, 352, 252,000, 255,000, and 233. So basically, those are the figures that we have. So we try to summarize that working answer section by saying we've got 356,000, 356 million, 40,000, and 352. And then we subtract 163 million, 255,000, and 233. So basically, that is the information that we are given there, whereby we are saying from exchange transactions. So from there, we can now be able to calculate the figure that we. If we calculate correctly, the figure that we are supposed to get becomes 192 million. 759,000 and 119 rands. So basically, this becomes your final answer. So we can now go to our next question, whereby our next question reads, write down the revenue from interest end, that is external investment, that's interest end, that is external investment. So we go to our next 811,958. So this is the figure that we want to write in words. So basically, we are saying we can just go and rewrite it on another section, and then we convert it, convert the figure to words. So we are saying 811,000 and 958. So basically, this is what we have. So writing it down, we are going to say 800, 811 and 11,000 and 11,000 comma 900 958. So basically, that's what we have as we put it down in writing. So we go to the next part of our question, which says 1.1.4, round up the amount spent on remuneration councillors to the nearest 100,000. So you can just refer there and see the amount spent on remuneration for councillors. So we're seeing that remuneration for councillors we have it here, and we've got 4,484,000. 263. So basically, that's what we have. So we can just go there and rewrite it, and then we round it off. So we are saying 1.1.4. We are saying 4 million. 484. 263. And we refer back to see that we are going to round it off to the nearest 100,000. So we just identify where we have 100,000. So you see that the 100,000 we have it here. So it means just behind our 4, we're actually going to change our 4 to 5. We add 1 to 4 to become 5, so it becomes 4,500,000. So this becomes our answer. But if you refer back again, we can just write, read all the instruction that we have. The full instruction goes on and say, so it means your answer is going to include the word million. So basically, we are going to convert this to 4.5 million. So basically, that's what we have. So basically, to convert it to million, you can just maybe divide it by 1 million, and you're going to get your 4.5 million. So here we just divided by 1 million, and then so that we can put it in the form of million. So basically, this is what we have as our final answer. Then we go to the next question that we have, which is saying define the term expenses in this context. Define the term expenses in this context. So you see that expenses is the amount of money spent by the municipality. So remember, if you go to our next year, you'll see that this is an annexure or a statement of financial performance for the Ndume local municipality. So an expense, we are saying, we are defining it within the context of this statement of financial performance. So we are saying it's the amount of money spent by the municipality. So we can just try to write it on our answer section by saying 1.1.5, and then we are saying expense. You're saying this is the amount of money spent by the municipality. When you go to the next question, it is 1.1.6. It is on what does the municipality spend the highest amount of money on? So on what does the municipality spend the highest amount of money on? So we go on the expenses and see where we have the highest amount, and we go to our expenses and see where we have the highest amount. So our expenses, we are just going to check, starting from this point, going down to other expenses. So you can just try to see. So if you check the figure that we have for bulk purchases, bulk purchase electricity, is the highest amount that we're having there is 145,803 and 39. So this is what we have as our highest amount. So basically, we can just go and describe that expense as we are saying it's bulk purchase electricity. So this is what we have, and then we can refer to our next question. So our next question says determine the value of P, the surplus or deficit for the period. You may use the formula surplus or deficit is equal to total revenue minus total expenses. So basically, this is 1.1.7. So we are saying surplus or deficit is equal to total revenue. So we can check our total revenue on our next year, whereby total revenue we are given it as 356 million 14,352. So basically, this is what we are going to state there as our revenue. So we are saying we can just maybe try to recheck the amounts whereby we're saying 356. So we just correct to there. We have 356. We have 356,000 and 14,000. We've got 14,000 here, and then finally we've got 352 there. So that's what we have in terms of our revenue. And then we check our expenses figure, which we are going to subtract. And we see that the expenses figure going to be 347,225,997. So we check there and present it in such a way. We are saying 347,000 225, 247,225,997. So these are the figures that we have been trying to subtract there. So if you subtract correctly, the final figure that you are supposed to get there, it's going to be 8 million. We are seeing 8,788,000, and then we have got 355. So we have 355. So this becomes the final amount that we get, and this amount obviously it's a positive. It's a positive amount, and we are saying it's in rands. So basically, that's what we have there. Then we now if our answer is a positive, so we can now be able to determine whether it's a surplus or deficit. Remember, if you say your income, your revenue minus your expenses, and then you get a positive, it's supposed to be a surplus. So when it's a deficit, it should be a negative figure. So basically, well, we can describe it from the point of view that if your revenue is you have got a revenue that is greater than your expenses, it's a surplus. But if revenue is less than your expenses, you can describe it as a deficit. So in this case, we have identified it as a surplus. So if we go back to our question, obviously our question on 1.1.8 says, is the value B calculated above a surplus or a deficit? That's where you're not going to state it as a surplus. That is 1.1.8, and we're saying it's a surplus. So basically, we can now try to go to the next part of our question, whereby it's saying 1.1.9, what percentage of expenses is spent on operational expenses? Round off your answer to the nearest one decimal place. You may use the following formula: percentage of expenses spent on operations is equal to operational costs over total expenses times 100%. So obviously, we have to first check our operational costs according to our next sheet. So operational costs, we are having it here is 6,718,683. So we have it here. So this is going to be a numerator. So we can refer to our answer section, and we're saying 1.1.9, and we're saying the numerator is 6,718,683. And obviously, we are saying over. So our denominator, we refer back to the formula that we are given, is total expenses. And we know that the total expenses are 347,225,997. So we try to put that figure as 347,225,000 by 100 over 1. So we calculate it. I see that remember, we've got a section that we have in terms of our answer to the nearest one decimal place. So if you convert it to one decimal place, it's going to be 1.9%. So this becomes your final percentage that we have there. So our next question is on 1.2. The graph below shows the population by age breakdown of KwaZulu-Natal province and two of its municipalities, Endumeni and Umzinyathi. And then we're given a population age breakdown. Then we are given that graph that we need to go through. Then use the graph to answer the following questions. 1.2.1, name type of graph used to represent the information above. So the question is just to identify which type of graph do we have here is presented. So you see that this graph is a multiple bar graph. So we can just try to present it on answer section as our 1.2. 1.2. And we are saying it's a multiple graph. So basically, that's what we have on 1.2. Then we'll try to refer to the next part of our question, which says which age group is the second highest percentage of people in Umzinyathi. So we try to go where we try to see where we have got Umzinyathi, and we see that Umzinyathi is represented by this box that we have here, that small box that we have here. So we try to identify in terms of which one has got the second highest, and you see that the highest is here on 10 to 19, where we have got 26.2. Then the second highest is on 0 to 9, where we have got 25.6. So 0 to 9, according to the question, is it leads us to identify age group. So we are saying 0 to 9. So the age group that we identified, which is now our 1.2.2. And we are saying our response is 0 to 9 age group. And we go to the next question what we have. So the next question is saying, what is the difference in percentage between Umzinyathi and Indumeni in the 10 to 19 age group? So 10 to 19 we are here. And Umzinyathi is the one with 26.2. Then Indumeni is the one with 21.9. So we are just going to subtract the two and find the difference. So go to our answer section and just present it as such. We say this is our 1.2.3. We are seeing presentation. We just present it as such. Remember, we are saying. Remember, we are saying our figure that we have for the first figure that we have is 26.2%, and then we subtract our 21.9. So we can just try to refer back. Remember, we are saying 26.2, and then we subtract 21.9. So 21.9%. And the answer that you are supposed to get there becomes 4.3. 4.3%. So I'll go to the next person, 1.2.4. Arrange the percentage of Indumeni municipality in descending order. So remember descending, we are starting with the highest to the lowest. So this is in reference to Indumeni municipality. So we try to pick the ones for Indumeni municipality. What Indumeni here is presented. So the ones for Indumeni, we have got to get just maybe try to pick them as. So on the first one, which one is the highest? You see that the tallest that we have got this one for 23.5. So the one that we are going to pick first, 23.5. So we can just check out 23.5. So we are going to start with 23.5. And then from there, we can try to go to the next one, which is now we 0.9, which is here. So we go to 21.9. 21.9. Then from 21.9, we go again to see the next one, which is we have 19.9. So we have 19.9. And try to see on the next one after 19.9. We try to check which one is lower than 19.9. We've got 14.4. Then from 14.4, we check the next one. We have a 7.8 here. So we can just present it as 7.8. So from 7.8, obviously we are going down. We have got 5.9 here. And from 5.9, obviously we are on this one where we have 3.9. Then we check on the next one. After 3.9, we have this one, which is 2.2. Then after 2.2, we check again. We have The last one, which is going to be 0.5. Which becomes the last one. So basically, that's what we have. And that becomes the last one. So we can just move on to the next question, whereby you say, according to Statistics South Africa, Stats SA, the population of KwaZulu-Natal was 11,065,240 in the year 2016. Using values in the graph above, calculate the number of people in the age group 20 to 19 in this province. That is KwaZulu-Natal. So go to 20 to 29 and see the percentage that we have under KwaZulu-Natal. 20 to 29 is this range. And KwaZulu-Natal, we've got this box as representing KwaZulu-Natal, which is this one. And we are seeing the percentage that we are having there. It's 19.1%. So you're going to say 19.1% of the 11,065,240. So we just go and calculate it. And remember, this is 1.2.5. So remember, we said it's 19.1%. So 19.1%, we are just going to say 19.1 over 100. And then say 5,000 and 240. And obviously, this is over. This is over 1. And we try to calculate in such a way, you see that if you simplify it, it becomes 0.191 and 240. So calculate it correctly. The figure that you're going to get is now 160,84. So if you refer back in terms of rounding off, we'll try to see what we have in terms of rounding off, and we are told that we are not given instruction in terms of how are we supposed to round off. So we can just round it off. Remember, this we are calculating. Calculating population. So this is the number of people. So obviously we can round it off to the nearest whole number, whereby we round it up if there's a comma. So in this case, we have got 0.84, so we can just simply round it up, whereby now this 1, we round it up to become this 0 to become 1. Then it becomes 2,113,161. So this becomes your final answer. So that's what we have for 1.2.5. So remember, we also have the last question, which is 1.1. Last question that we have, we can just refer back there. 1.2.6 is the data represented in the graph categorical or numerical? So the question is us to choose or identify the graph, the data that is in the graph. Is it categorical or is it numerical? So obviously we know that when it's numerical, it is measurable and collected in number form. And it, basically we are saying it's quantifiable. It's quantitative data when it's numerical. But when it's categorical data, we say it's qualitative, which we are saying it's not in the form of quantities, it's not in the form of numbers, that is categorical. And we can also divide it into groups. For example, categorical data that we can try to give examples. We have got the issue of sex, age, classified in terms of races, age groups, also can be categorical. So basically, according to the information that we have, according to the graph that we have, we can just try to see. We see that our data that we have there, according to the explanations that we have given, we can try to identify it as numerical. So see that this one is numerical, and as we see that is data that can be quantified. So basically, it's in the form of numbers. So basically, it's numerical. So we represent that on the other section, and we say 1.2.6. We say numerical. So this becomes the last part of our question. This is 1.2.6. So thank you for listening. Hopefully, the video was helpful. And please, let's not forget to subscribe and share to our channel. Let's not forget to share the link to our colleagues who are doing grade 12 mathematical literacy. More typical examination questions are going to be uploaded on this channel. So let's stay tuned. Let's get notified by subscribing and turning on the notification button so that when there are new uploads, we get notified. Let's meet again in the next video. As for this video, I'm signing out.